Hello. Good evening, everyone. I am Crystal, and I almost did it wrong. This is my bearded brother, Tom. Hey,
Hi.
Glenn. Good evening.
A wild Glen has appeared. And a Skeeter.
We got distracted, Glenn. It happens.
We did. We did.
We were talking.
And an Omen Garden. It's our friends. Hello, friends.
Arosa.
Arosa.
It's all of our people.
Yeah. So did anything interesting happen in the last week?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Nothing. Okay.
No, nothing interesting. Nothing Wheel of Time related.
Nothing, right? That's what I thought. That's what I
at
thought.
all. No, no news here.
I only did a 2-hour live for a 57-second trailer. if you cut out the Amazon Prime at the end and there's maybe a 6-second portion of it that's just like a black screen for no reason. It's like 57 seconds, and I was live for like 2 hours and 15 minutes or 2 hours.
I caught part of it. I was jealous. I wanted to be there. I have watched it so many times. So many times. Usually at like 0.25 speed, because some of the scenes like flash by so fast you can't see them if it's moving real time.
So fast. I may or may not have recorded it and then been able to scroll through it frame by frame with my thing. But just in case, I don't think there's anyone here who hasn't seen it yet, but I'm gonna play it again. Again, it's only a minute, so we're gonna watch it again for a minute. Because why not? I mean, we're Dragonmount, so like we gotta, talk about all the Wheel of Time stuff. Gotta. So let's check it out again for a minute and see and just watch it again because it's lovely. I also love the music. I like the music. All right, here we go.
The world is changing. Who knows how deep the Shadow's roots have taken hold here? I have seen 1,000 futures. In every future where I lived, Rand dies. And the only way he lives is if I don't. You cannot afford to fail again.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Arosa, that is not at all embarrassing. In spite of having watched it frame by frame, I never noticed the little, the words that came across the screen. It was like a hell of a ride. I had not seen that because I was too busy looking at everything else.
There's so much in there that makes me excited. Like, I said it like 100 times when we were watching it before, but again, Rafe and them could be fucking with us. We got to take everything with a grain of salt because
it could gave us so much that the more I reflected on it, I was like, is all of this her vision? Like, is every single one of these one of the 1,000 lives that Moiraine lived? Like, all of it's bullshit. None of it's actually going to happen. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know either. I'm hoping not. Like, I hope some of it isn't. Like, I grabbed some images out. Let me make this big. Oh, that's me. That's
hello. Hey, is our boss not back? He's not.
No, he fucked off for a little bit. All right, there we go.
Okay.
I grabbed a couple of images just to look at that we from the trailer. We're not going to go through all of them right now, but I grabbed some fun ones. So I love Ruidian. Ruidian looks gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
I'm excited about this dude right here. Pretty sure that's Ruark.
Oh, he is.
He's humongous. Like,
manly.
If you look at the comparison of shoulders compared to Rand, he's so big. He's such a big dude. Very excited about that. And again, Ruidian looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. More of the White Tower is always good. I love these statues. These statues are really cool. If you look up some like yoga statues of like Shiva and like things like that of the Hindu goddesses, they're often doing that pose with the hand up like that, or poses. There are some yoga like if you look up Hindu yoga statues, you'll see a lot of statues like that.
I actually have one downstairs that is the exact pose of the one in the middle.
Oh, in the middle, the one with the two hands, okay, that's cool. Then we have Stupid Hair Rand. That's what I'm going to call him.
It is awful. I'm sorry. That better be a vision because that's awful. That's awful.
Absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. I doubt it isn't a vision because like
he still looks good, but no.
Yeah, he's got a shaved head. So then we have whom I'm gonna, go out on a limb here and say Leandrin.
Very much
sitting on the Amerlin seat with a person. Yeah, well, either Lanfear or it could be Alviarin.
Look at the I don't know. I feel like the profile of the nose.
The profile does look a lot like Lanfear. Maybe instead of Alviarin, it'll be Lanfear in disguise as a Aes Sedai named Alviarin. Like I could see that. Gwen gets her test.
I hope we get to see some of that. Oh, I love this little blip. Yeah, we haven't seen enough training with the sword.
Yeah, none. Like everyone was like, "Where's the training montages?" So we finally got our training montage. Avendon Sora looks gorgeous also. Like it looks like there's entire trees growing out of the limbs. They're so huge.
I really hope I get my tattoo after the first year and I haven't seen it yet. And I hope that is included in there.
Avendon Sora?
I've stressed that that's an important one for me, but we'll see.
Priyanka's always looking gorgeous in whatever she does. And I can't wait to see her letting loose fighting, who we're pretty sure is Leandrin in the streets. And we got our first shot of maybe Gawain or Galad or both or one or the other. What do you think? Do you like or dislike my idea of
go back to the Rand one?
Oh, Rand and Land in different poses. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh yeah, he's got his
well, they're facing opposite directions. So he's got Rand has his sword draped, it's coming, like the blade is facing toward us, where Land's sword is the blade is facing away from us, like the sharp edge of the blade.
What poses would these be? What would this be? Who knows?
It's like a ready pose. I don't know.
No, but it has
it's the beginning of Boar rushes down.
Somebody knows. Somebody has to know.
Someone probably
what it's called.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
Well, Robert Jordan made up the sword forms so that he didn't have to describe and then he came in with the sword in a low block, like he was just and then Boar rushes through the weeds and that's why he wrote that.
No, it is the same. It's like Rand's blade was just tilted more inward.
So what do you guys think of my idea of them combining Galad and Gawain? Yes, no, maybe.
I'm not saying it's not happening, but it wouldn't be my preference.
Okay. I honestly kind of hope they do because I feel like they'd be better. Gawain would be less annoying of a character if he had some of Galad's traits and some of his storyline.
Later in the book, yes, especially later in the books. But I thought they were going to give Galad's storyline to
his White Cloak portion. Yeah. I could still see them. I still see them doing that, even if they're two separate characters. I know Rafe said that, but I don't believe him. He didn't say we were getting both, but he didn't say that they would be combined. That's true.
That is absolutely true. Thom saying he doesn't believe you. It's not me.
Well, you're 100% right though. He did say they're not combining them, but he didn't say we were getting both. So I'm still holding out that I think we're only getting one brother.
I will be disappointed, but
Angry Lan. I don't know why I included this one. I just like looking at Daniel Henney is really all it is for me.
He's a very attractive man.
Oh, then we Mo Gideon, probably scaring the shit out of Leandrin. This will be the second Forsaken that has visited Leandrin. No, third Forsaken who has visited Leandrin. Is Shamael Lanfear. Yeah.
Hair looks really good here. I'm just.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. And then I have another picture here of Mo Gideon, apparently. Oh no, wait, that's Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber. My bad. Don't tell me. You can't tell me.
It's so spot on.
It's so the same. They look exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Wow, Glenn, tell us how you really feel.
Sorry, Green doesn't look like an idiot for getting involved with the dumbest character in the series. That is fair. That is.
I don't think he's dumb. I think he's just obnoxious.
He really is. But I question her decision making because
I love him in the early books. It wasn't until later that he.
This image is so dark. Hold on, I gotta brighten this image up for you guys because it's so dark. I don't understand how they get so dark. All right, there we go. It's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit better. So yeah, obviously Perrin, probably Battle of the Two Rivers. His armor looks really cool though. I never thought of like Perrin's armor.
I think this is. I don't know. I'm having a hard time imagining everything that we saw
in 8 episodes.
8 hours of television, like 8 episodes of television. I feel like this one might be one of the.
That's funny. I didn't think about that. Hoping that this is Talonvor in the background. That would be cool. This guy right here, Talonvor. I don't know. He might be cute. I don't know. You can't tell. He's too blurry. Oh yeah, and then the goth fucking costumes, fantastic. I love them.
No, they look so good.
Yeah, so good, so good. I can't wait to see them in better detail, like when we get like the actual scene of this.
I love Elaine's like arm, like how she's half armored.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
It looks like she's got like the shoulder is like it's shiny, so I'm guessing metal of some kind. It could be something else, but she's also got a bracer on that side. Rand looks like he has a creepy ass face there.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve looks just gangster as fuck. It looks like her locks are like really thick, like where she had like thinner locks down into braids. Now it just looks like big fat thick locks, like she's only got a couple of them.
It almost looked like Perrin's hair was longer tue. I couldn't tell if he had a hood or if he had like legit, like just really long hair.
Yeah, maybe. And then of course Moghedien in the background looking creepy as fuck, just chilling. And then I finished it with sad Moiraine being carried out of the way. I'm not sure if we're gonna get dead Moiraine though, like actually dead Moiraine. I think this would be a great way for Rafe to trick some of the book readers into thinking that she is actually dead instead of not like the books, like in the books, but we'll see.
Because he knows the books, and then I feel like he knows all of us so well. He knows that we're going to read into things, and so I just am so curious, like the false things, the misleading things that were put in here to point us in the wrong direction.
There's going to be so many red herrings. This is just going to be full of red herrings. He's going to fuck with us. I guarantee he's fucking with us a lot with this.
He knows we're gonna scene by scene, clip by clip, like I feel like after I watched it so many times, I was like, there's no way all of this is happening in the coming
episodes. Like they still didn't say how many episodes. I'm assuming it's 8 because everything is 8 episodes.
Who said it earlier that we're just not gonna get the Stone of Tear? Was that you, Glenn? At all? I think that's possible. I agree. Yeah, I think they just bypassed that altogether.
There's no like story reason why you need to have the Stone of Tear, like they, as long as he gets Kalendor, or I mean, like, again, even Kalendor was a pivotal thing because of staying non-spoilery, like of the effects that it has and like, what it actually does. So like it did influence the story a bit, and it was a fun thing to find out like later on how it functioned. But that would be all he really needs to get, and he could find that anywhere.
Do you have the picture of Min still? Do you have that anywhere?
Yeah. Which one?
I'm curious, the one of her in the, as we were calling it, the museum storeroom.
Oh, Min. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just curious people's thoughts on that.
The storeroom.
They thought this was.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get a poll out on social media asking what people thought.
Yeah.
If it was the tower storeroom or the museum storeroom.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. So yeah, I this scene was also pretty cool. I mean, I like seeing any kind of like tidbits of information.
So many things in here. The cryptex. all of the animals.
Yeah, the cryptex and this thing that's next to it. It looks like it almost could be like like a piece of electronic, or it could just be a picture frame. Like if there's like if it's something left over from the Age of Legends, you know, like it could be a piece of technology or something. There's so much stuff in here though that this is going to be a fun scene to actually pick apart. Like once we see, you know, a better shot of it when we have like the whole actual scene. An ashtray gun.
Did you say you thought she was in the tower? Like it could be a storeroom in the tower. Hey, Rapunzel.
Yeah. You know how they talk about the storerooms where they keep the ter'angreal in the tower and how they're all unkept because no one goes in there to clean them and no one goes in there to look at the stuff and no one goes in there to get anything because they don't want to mess around with the objects of the one tower because they're afraid that they could explode or kill them or burn them out or whatever. So I could see it being that.
That's commitment.
Yeah.
I just don't know how the animals like
how would they come into it?
Yeah. How would the animals come into it?
Who knows? I mean, I'm sure that they could turn bones into ter'angreal if they wanted to. And they do say sometimes the storerooms are just full of crap, just like random crap, anything that anyone suspected of being weird or could be
taxidermy crap. Okay.
Yeah. The animals are what point me more toward the museum.
That's my thought on it. I think it's the museum.
Yeah. I want to put I'm gonna put a poll out on the social medias. A ter'angreal. That's funny. Or a zebrangriel. That was terrible. I'm sorry. I'll apologize for that now.
But, yeah, that was
all right. Let me get our episode up. So obviously we don't have our fantastic guest with us this evening because they were unable to come tonight. So hopefully we can get them to come on a future episode. But it's just going to be Crystal and I for tonight.
You're stuck with us. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe you could do the interview for me tonight and I'll answer the questions.
Ooh, fun.
That'll be a little impromptu thing. I mean, as many times as I've read those questions, I don't know if I've ever sat and thought about my answers to them.
I only have about half of mine. Yeah.
But let me share the link for our watch party as I usually do, and then give everyone a minute to log in and everything.
Do you have something you're most excited to see, Tom?
I think, man, I don't know. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for the Perrin stuff. If we get like a little bit more focus on Perrin and seeing him go back to the Two Rivers and how people react to him. And if we get any kind of character growth in the idea of like him coming to terms with what happened with Layla and things like that. So I'm just interested to see Perrin's growth as a character, knowing that, well, assuming that we're going to get more of him as if like the Battle of the Two Rivers thing is real, like that's going to happen and it's not a vision or something. Some nonsense. All right, I'm going to post the link for the watch party so everyone can join.
Interview Luna. Luna ran away. Luna's not even hanging out with us.
He was sitting in my lap and I had the Luna cam on here. I'll turn it on for a sec so you can see where it's aiming, because it's aiming currently at my lap where he was sitting. I set it all up here. Look here. There it is. Hi. His face was right there in the camera. And he was sitting there for like, I don't know, a half an hour before we went live. And I got the camera all set up and it was perfect. And then he got up and left. I was like, you son of a bitch. Best laid plans.
He's his own person.
He is. But yeah, Perrin I'm most excited about, and then seeing any interactions between the Forsaken. So now that we know all the Forsaken are out, I want to see some interactions between the Forsaken, like them talking to each other and planning and or discussing things, or like, you know, oh, the last time I saw you, we were blah 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 blah. Like,
I hope we do more with like dreaming. I love in the books like Egwene's storyline, like once she enters the waste in her time with the wise ones. So I hope we get some of that, which it looks like we're going to. And then Rand at oh gosh, what's it called? Al-Cardal and that whole confrontation where there's like two people putting themselves up as the Karakarn. I always like that storyline too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Skeeter, if his presence in the trailer is indicative of his presence in the season, I'm just gonna curl up in a little ball and cry. So
hey, listen, as long as we get
the little mat ball crying,
as long as we get the quarterstaff battle, as long as we get that, if that's the only scene or like the most that we get out of Matt the entire season, I'll be happy.
I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need more. I'm sorry. I'm gonna need a little more.
Donald Flynn is an awesome actor, and he's very pretty to look at. But
he's nice to look at.
So much stuff.
He is my Matt. So I'm excited. I need more of him. Yes, Aaron, more.
I'm not like there's not a ton of stuff that Matt does. Other than the little bit of where he rescues Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene and stuff when they get captured by but if they're not going to the Stone of Tyr and they're going to be split up anyway, that's not going to happen.
Rafe is going to find a place for him.
Yeah.
He knows what we need.
I mean, like, we don't even know if he's going to the Waste or going to the White Tower. So like that's going to change things drastically. Whether or not he goes to the Waste is going to be what's going to dictate the entire thing. And then if he doesn't go to the Waste, like they have to marry up his storyline with the things that are supposed to happen to him there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do all of that.
Yeah.
Because if he goes to the White Tower to do the quarterstaff fight, he's not going to be in the Waste unless he can somehow also get to the Waste in that short amount of time.
Aaron, that's really interesting. I was talking to my mom, who's like the only first-time reader that I know in real life, and she kind of made a comment. She's like, I don't know who I'm like, other than Rand, I don't know who I'm supposed to care about, like Rand and Moiraine. And I was like, that's fair, because you don't know them the way we know them.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more. Well, I mean, we're going to see it, especially, I don't know about in this season, but like we know that they're going to start focusing more on the Emmonsfield Five and the other characters, because Maureen's probably not going to be there. I mean, just from a production standpoint, we know Rosamund Pike, she's got like where she's doing voice acting in a series. Like she's already done a bunch of episodes of this show. What's it called? Moomin Valley or something like that. It's a children's cartoon.
Cute.
She voices a character. She's already done like almost 60 episodes of that show, and it's running through the rest of 2024, and she might be doing more in 2025 of that. But she's going to be in a movie called In the Gray that's filming now and is going to be filming throughout next year. So is she doing that instead of doing the Wheel of Time? Is she doing that with doing the Wheel of Time? And In the Gray it's a big movie. Like, it's not like a little movie. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Guy Ritchie directing and wrote it. Henry Cavill's in it. Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. And she seems to be playing a main character. It almost looks like, if you haven't seen The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, first of all, see it immediately because it's fantastic. But it almost seems like it's a continuation of that. I'm not sure. It just, the way Henry Cavill looks in the one image that I was able to
there's only one photo. It must be late 2025. Like,
yeah.
It's, yeah.
The one, it looks World War II era. It looks like he's wearing World War II, like military dress clothes. Like, that's what that looks like to me. And obviously this is just him walking around on set, because the rest of the stuff is not like that. Dude's got a walkie-talkie in his pocket. But she's playing, so the only bit about the movie is it revolves around two extraction specialists who have to designate a route of escape for a senior female negotiator. I'm guessing senior female negotiator is Rosamund Pike, because she's the top billed woman in the cast. But between Henry Cavill, Isa Gonzalez, Rosamund Pike, and Jake Gyllenhaal, it's a pretty packed movie. Like,
no, that's a
small movie.
Star-studded cast.
Yeah.
Glenn, I disagree with you. You and I are going to have this debate sometime. Barney was wonderful. I don't no shade to him. He was wonderful. He was not the Matt that I love. Like that he was not Matt to me. He was wonderful in what they wrote for him, but I don't think that was Matt.
I thought he was a really good Matt until I saw Donald, and I was like, no, yeah. Donald is Matt.
I was like, that's him. There he is. Yeah.
And no shade on him, on Barney, but like
no.
Donald is just perfect. Like he's been so great. Like I couldn't see Barney pulling off the comedic scenes as well as Donald has.
Oh, those scenes when he was
posting the link for the teleparty one more time before we get going.
Had you posted it at all? I'm way behind. Sorry.
Yeah. There's a couple of people in there already.
Distracted.
And then I'll get our timestamp up. So if people are following in other ways, they can still.
I mean, we're not just going to watch the clip over and over again for the next hour. That's not what we're doing. That's not why we're here.
I did that already. Okay. If people want to watch it, you can go back to the Dragonmount YouTube channel and you can watch it there, where we dissect literally almost every single frame of that entire trailer.
He did Moody very, very well.
He was
very attractive.
He was good as dark Matt, like Matt at like even when he was in the Two Rivers, he was still kind of like a little bit icky.
Icky Matt.
Yeah, icky Matt. Because he didn't do any of his fun, like he wasn't doing any practical jokes or anything. He didn't do his prank like that. That kind of set the tone. Obviously they're older, so 16, 17-year-old Matt would probably be putting a badger in a sack and releasing it on the green to scare the girls. But 24-year-old Matt, that would be they'd look at him and be like, really? Really? Yeah, I totally, I definitely,
he's
definitely agree.
Fits with what I pictured for all those years.
Yeah. I mean, Barney didn't have the chance to do all of the acting that Donald has done so far. But, so from what I've seen of Donald, he seems, just to be perfectly frank, like a better actor. Like he's got a little bit more range, than Barney had from what we've seen. But we didn't really see Barney all that much, So maybe he's also phenomenal. I have no idea. All right. Anything else stick out about the trailer?
No, but now I want to look up Barney's casting photo.
Was anything noticeably missing from the trailer? We talked about a lot what was in the trailer.
More Matt.
Barney Harris, his IMDb picture now is,
oh no,
militant looking. Like it, he's got a shaved head and he looks very, very serious.
No. Oh wow. Man. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
No. That's terrible.
That's his IMDb picture now. I hope he's doing okay. That's all I gotta say. I hope he's doing okay.
I wish we had seen no Varen, Thom, obviously. I wish we had seen more from Suan. She wasn't missing, she was there. But I don't know.
No Varen, no Thom are very big missing pieces. They could easily squeeze Thom in their travels, because they have to go from freaking Falm literally across the entire fucking continent, so they can slip him in anywhere. And then if Matt ends up in Tar Valon, they can slip him in there, and if he leaves Tar Valon, they can get him in the travel from when he leaves. So there's a lot of area where they can get him in.
More White Cloaks.
I'm sure we'll see them if we have the Battle of Two Rivers. It looked like there was at least one in the background.
During that, if the Battle of Two Rivers is actually legit. Yeah,
if it's there and not. Balor, Balor would. I mean, we do get that perspective scene to the White Cloaks where we get to finally meet him. But yeah, he's a great character. I hope they put him in. There's so many minor characters that are fantastic characters, and that could easily be great to have there, and or never show up, and I'd be sad. But we'll see.
It's a good picture, Glenn. It's a good. I'll give you the casting photo.
That's more accurate. That's more accurate. No, that's definitely more accurate.
Grumbling quietly to self.
Yeah.
Or on here.
Yeah. Talking out of the side of these people don't know how to do anything. Like he always seems like the teacher, like the old teacher that knows better but just doesn't want. But he feels out of place, like correcting people, so he won't.
Oh yeah, more naive, more obvious. Yeah, we got more than I ever thought we were gonna get, but it still wasn't enough. Like I didn't. It was still too. It really focused on those visions, so it really didn't give. It gave a lot and also not very much at the same time. Damn you, Rafe.
He's. I mean, the whoever cut that trailer together did a great job. I think. Yeah. Like of just because it's supposed to be a teaser trailer. To be perfectly honest with everybody, I don't like how far in advance we start advertising movies and television shows generally. I mean, this isn't that bad. It's only like 4 months. That's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's appropriate. I don't like when they start teasing, like putting out teaser trailers and like set and like images and stuff a year and a half before the fucking movie comes out.
Simply the fact that there is a release date for Toy Story 5 that is in 2026, like, makes me crazy. Tell me it's coming. It is June 19th. It's my birthday of 2026 for that. I was like, why are you telling me this? I found out before my birthday this year, years in advance.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not helpful to me.
It's crazy. That's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. Like, just advertise before the movie comes out. Like, give it like 4 months. 4 months is a good amount of time to start to drop a teaser trailer and a poster and some images, and then you slowly build up to bigger and bigger marketing.
My devastation will be like I'm gonna need new medication if we don't get a season 4.
That reminds me though.
Better medication.
Taylor Napier said it on his Blue Sky on Instagram, but we've been saying it for a while. The way Amazon tracks, he didn't say this part. The way Amazon tracks ratings is terrible. But he said if you want to see us do a season 4, you have to cancel your Amazon subscription so that it expires prior to the release of Wheel of Time, and then reactivate it like when Wheel of Time comes out, so that they see new subscriptions being activated around the date of when the Wheel of Time show comes out, because that's the only metric that they measure. The only metric they measure is new or reactivated accounts when the Wheel of Time comes out. And that's, to me,
what
silly.
About upgraded accounts?
No, it doesn't.
No, it has to be.
It has to be newly activated or reactivated accounts. That's all they go by. And it's silly. It's absolutely silly, especially for a company like Amazon, who has Amazon Prime for so many other services. Like, there are people that don't watch Amazon Prime Video at all and have had Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, my wife has had Amazon for like 20 years. Like, she's had it since it's like 2012 or whenever it started. Like, so expecting people to make new accounts in order to watch it is just dumb. Like, you should go by hours watched and views, like everything else, because they know that information. They always post it.
I was trying to figure out, I don't know when my yearly thing renews. So
if you want to help the Wheel of Time TV show, look into when, like, canceling your Amazon Prime subscription and then reactivating it a couple of days before, or the day of the Wheel of Time when it drops, so on March 13th, and tell your friends and family to do that. It's silly that's the way to do it.
I don't even know where to find that. Oh, there we go. I don't know when mine expires. That one. Yeah,
so the first thing you watch,
February 25th, 2025.
There you go. So you want to, so if that's true, and let's just go by that because it'll be safe. You want to reactivate it the day of the release, and then have the very first thing you watch be the Wheel of Time, so that they can get the log for that. But speaking of watching things, let's watch Vox Machina.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I've watched season 2 twice now, and I've watched these episodes like 4 or 5 times today. So I'm going to share the link one more time for everybody in chat. Maybe if I can copy and paste. I clicked copy. Why isn't it pasting? Damn keyboard shortcuts. There we go. Okay.
I know, Skeeter. It makes me mad too, but we're going to do it.
It really does. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. All right. I shared that, and I'm going to give everybody another second, and I'm going to give everyone a countdown. I have the timer lined up. That is for this episode. Yes, that is for this episode. And timer. And here we go. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, and play. Yay.
Okay,
And
quick question. Pausing my membership doesn't do it either. I have to cancel it.
I think so, yeah. Why is it?
That's annoying. It's not going.
Yeah, it keeps pausing.
I
don't know why. Okay, I'm going to do a new one because for some reason
are buffering.
It keeps pausing over and over again, and it says people are buffering. So I'm going to just do a new one. I think I let it sit too long. Sometimes if you let the teleparty thing sit for too long, it gets funky. That's why I usually like wait until like we've started talking for a little while. But you know, we spent a half an hour talking about the trailer because we had to. All right, so I'm going to do a new link for the trailer. It'll start in a second.
Yeah, I was looking at all of the things I have on like subscribe and it's hard. That's
exactly.
Stupid. That's really, really dumb, Amazon. If you're listening,
I wonder, like, if you've already paid for the Amazon Prime subscription, like through March, but you cancel it and your end date is after March 13th, but that doesn't matter. But then you reactivate it on the Wheel of Time day. Like, does it have to be all the way canceled, like no longer receiving the services, or just is it good enough to cancel the billing and then restart the billing? I don't know, because like sometimes you pay for it annually. If you pay for the entire year and you cancel it, it doesn't stop it. It just will stop the repayment at the end of the year when it would come back on.
Well, no, I was just thinking about that, and then how would I watch the other things that I watch for that?
All right, I'm
or whatever it is.
Sharing a new link now, so disregard that other link, and I'm posting the new link for everybody, and I'm going to reset the timer. Okay, give everyone a chance to get the new link. If it ever sends, there it goes. Give everyone a couple of seconds, and then I'll give you another countdown and press play. And hopefully it doesn't mess up again.
Good one, Glenn.
It's only when I let it sit for a while that it gets funky.
Oh man!
And if it says that you're like already in a watch party or something, just refresh your page and click the link again.
It does that like perpetual joining party. You just have to close it and open it again.
Yeah, just close the browser.
I'll join right away.
Yeah. All right. Give everyone another second, and then I will press play. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. It's pausing again. How is it pausing? I set it so that only I have control. I don't know how this is.
Tom, they wanted us to watch the clip over and over again for 1 hour. That's what they were.
I guess so. No. I set it so that only I have control, so I don't think someone else is pausing it.
No, it still says people are buffering down the bottom.
Frustrating is what this is. Frustrating.
You know what? It is still giving us less problems than a lot of other watch parties, so we're still going to be thankful for that.
Mostly fair. Still frustrating though. All right. I'm going to give this one more shot. And then I'm going to punch myself in the face.
Please don't do that.
Punch myself until I fall asleep.
Then I will be all by myself. And I will cry.
All right.
I'm very tired.
All right.
What the hey, Faye?
Why are you doing this to me? You silly, silly program. Right, let me close Chrome completely and then restart it, and maybe that will solve my problem. Sorry, friends.
Yeah,
things are broken though.
Separately too.
Yeah, if we have to, I'll just do the timer, and you guys can line up like we usually do. But I like having the watch party. If it doesn't work this time, this is my last shot.
Yeah, we will, Aaron. Let me start pulling mine up just in case. So something else I want to talk about, Tom, that I thought this would be a good place for it is how I go about creating like a D&D character, like my first character. And we can wait.
You've never played D&D before?
I did in high school a couple times, but I told you, like, I grew up in the Midwest. I'm in the Bible Belt. Like, that shit was the devil. And so I was not allowed to, like, have those kind of games. I got away with Magic the Gathering. And so that's more what I played. I think I played 2 D&D campaigns my entire life. And that was high school, which was 20 odd years ago. Mm-hmm. But 2 years ago, a student of mine, that was his incentive. Like when he would fill his token chart or his point sheet or do whatever it was he was supposed to do, he wanted to like host a D&D game in our social group. And so I got just like a little bit back into it. But now like watching this, I want to play. I don't know if it's going to have to be online because I don't know anybody here, but I just don't even know where to start.
Well, you could definitely play with us when we do our what's it called? The Patreon. So on how we talked about how we're redoing the Patreon, I shared some of the information. We're going to do the one shots every month. So if you want, you can at least play with us when we do that.
Yes. And I feel like somebody else has offered teaching me online too. And I can't remember who it is right now.
Well, I have, D&D Beyond with pretty much everything unlocked. So we can make characters like together on there, and I could sit and watch you do it. It's the same thing as doing it on pencil and paper. The character sheet is the same, except it does all of the nitty gritty things for you. So you don't have to do it like the addition and multiplication and like putting the correct information in the correct box. Ooh. You still pick everything, but
nice.
Oh, that would be fun.
Like, I just want to, I don't want to hold anybody back. Like, I don't know. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing enough when I.
There isn't anything to know what to do, and doing it online is the best because it does the majority of the stuff for you. Like, it's like, oh, I want to attack this guy. Okay, cool. Click that little attack button, and you click it, and it rolls a dice for you. It does all it applies the appropriate skills and things. You don't have to know what to do. So really, all you need to know, like. Here, watch. Okay, so Crystal, you're you, and you're walking in a forest by yourself, and you hear a branch crack off, like out of your line of sight, like off to your right. What do?
I would look for a place to hide.
Okay, so this is where you would roll a d20 and hide. So we'll say you roll a d20 and you got 15, and your sneak or your stealth skill is a +3, so that would be 19. So that's a good roll for what we're doing, I would say. So you're successful in finding somewhere to hide. You're in the forest. Okay. Depending on your class or whatever, we'll say that you're this forest, maybe it's near your home, and you're able to obscure yourself pretty well. Or you feel that way. We just played D&D.
Okay.
We just played D&D. That's it. That's all you have to do. And
I mean, I love improv. Like the recent Wada Holidays has reminded me how much I like improv. So
yeah. I mean, that's all D&D is just ending your table mates, and like you don't have to do the things like everyone else does. There's a lot of gore in this opening scene. We're going to, I don't think we missed it yet. I think we're going to see it in a second. They started doing the Matt Mercer cameos again. They didn't do it in the last 2 episodes of season 1, but they started doing them in season 2 again. I think we'll see it in a second.
Ugh.
But basically getting down into the nitty gritty parts, like you'll learn those, like you'll learn what your character can do as you go, and having the D&D Beyond character sheet makes things easy because here I can actually show you. So let's open up a D&D Beyond tab as we watch this. So like the cat and Grog is going to do it in a second too. He goes into his rage, which is something a barbarian does. I like the way they incorporate some of the mechanics of the classes that the characters are into the story and into the action of the show. It's pretty fun. So I'll bring up my character that I'm playing on Time to Roll the Dice, the live play that we're doing with Roof Mistress and Beth Doman and Andrew from Black Tower. I have so many characters. I have 500 characters, literally over 500 characters.
Are they cats? Are your D&D characters cats?
Some of them are.
Sounds like cats.
Some of them are. One of them is literally a cat, like an actual cat, not just like there's an anthropomorphic cat-like creature in D&D called a tabaxi, and they're just like, they look like furries essentially. Why can't I find this character that I made? How long ago did I make my so my character is an Ogier, by the way. I'm just trying to find him. Whatever. I'll just pick one of my other random characters. Let's see. Who do I have here? I have anyone who's seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail should recognize this character's name. Let's present. I'll share my screen. We'll do D&D Beyond. Okay. So this is a character sheet.
Wow. Okay.
It looks a little intimidating in the beginning, but like there's not really much to see here. So this is my character, Sir Robin. He's a level 1 paladin. And I'm sure everyone likes the picture I used. It's the guy from the Dungeons and Dragons movie, the paladin from the Dungeons and Dragons movie. But like if you wanted to, as you're playing, if you wanted to attack, all you have to do is you click to hit on that. It rolls a die for you, and you've attacked.
Animation too. Okay.
And then if it's like, oh, okay, you hit, do the damage. You click that, and it does the damage. So like, it's not a hard system to play.
Okay.
The thing that I really like that they do is on each turn you have movement, attack, and bonus actions. So like these are your attacks as this character. These are your bonus actions, which are none because this character doesn't have any. And that's pretty much all you could do during your turns. But like anything to interact with the world is these skills right here. So acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, athletics. If we're looking at, like, let's say, what are they doing in Vox Machina right now? They're running away from a dragon. They would be making several athletics checks, and they're trying to hide. So they'd be making their stealth checks and things like that. So this character that I have up is a paladin. Stealth is a dexterity skill. He's more of a strength character, and he's wearing heavy armor, which gives him a disadvantage with stealth. Makes sense.
Thank you, Rapunzel. I was feeling that as I was leaning into the screen trying to.
Yeah, it is kind of small. Can I make it bigger? Yeah, that's a little bit better.
And like, how much do you write your backstory? Because my whole connection to even like Dragonmount was on the role playing side. Like that's kind of where my,
But before we dive into that real quick, I forgot to share our new character that we're getting right now, and he's just talking now. That's Thordak. And it's the lovely and amazing Lance Reddick, who is no longer with us. Moment of silence for Lance Reddick. Oh. Love that man. Anyway, Yeah, I mean, you have your character background. So the cool thing that's in D&D Beyond is you can write all that shit in here, and then your DM can see it. So you go in your notes, you can add.
I can stare down a hellhound. What?
The background. So this is the personality. So like the personality traits are things that you could either write yourself or they're built into the character background.
Okay.
So the background that I chose was Knight of the Order. So his personality is I can stare down a hellhound without flinching. I face problems head on. Simple and direct solutions are the best path to success. The greater good, our lot is to lay down our lives in defense of others. My honor is my life. And his flaw, which are my favorite parts of these, are I obey the law even if the law causes misery. So it's basically almost like Khaled. Yeah, it's almost like a lot. This was Sir Robin though, so it was pretty fantastic.
That's awesome.
I made a bard that followed him around 100% singing the Sir Robin song the entire time. So she just cast a spell. It isn't lay on hands, but that is a trait or a feature that this character can do. She's a paladin. She's a cleric technically, pike. So and she just healed Gilmore, but like that's what lay on hands does. Lay on hands also heals. So that's just another spell that they did in the show. When you make your character, and I could show you creating a character in a second, it's pretty easy. So let me make a new character. Tools, character builder. We'll do standard. Very simple. This part is just like what content do you have available to you when you create your character. I'll just leave everything clicked because then you can see everything.
First you choose Rapunzel. Do it.
First you choose a class. Pretty simple. Well, just real quick off the top of your head. What kind of weapon would you want to use, and would you want to do magic or not?
Yes to magic. Probably like a see, I'm a mat girl, so like a quarterstaff, like something up close hand fighting.
Okay. So if you want to be more like Matt, I think I would pick monk. Could do fighter though. Nah, I think monk would be better.
This is where I'm gonna need to read every single one of these. I'm gonna need to know. This is where my spicy brain gets in my way.
You pick now. This is the only place that I differ from the rest of the characters here. Oh wait, this is an important part. First of all, I love Gilmore. I love his relationship with Vax and the rest of the group, but the two of them are funny together. Radiates dark magic. Yeah, sure. Okay, that's nice. Just like a barbarian, just pick it up, put it on his back. No questions asked. Anyway, so the part of character creation that I like to differ from normal D&D, or at least D&D Beyond, because they suggest doing the class first. I like to do your background first. So your background is basically, where does your character come from? How did they grow up? What kind of job did they maybe have prior to this, where the story begins? So if we're gonna let's just say we're gonna make Matt, farmer would probably be a good choice. I mean, his dad really wasn't a horse merchant, but I think farmer would be a good choice. So as a farmer, his strength, constitution, and wisdom are his ability scores.
Okay.
He has the tough feat.
What's that mean?
You know what though? You know what? I think Matt, though, personally, he is a charlatan. Like, that's what he is. He would be like, once you were old enough to order an ale, your favorite stool was in a tavern. That's Matt. Once he had a choice to do things, he would travel from circuit to circuit, going from public house to watering hole to watering hole. Like, that's what Matt always wanted to do. So I feel like that is Matt's personality.
Yep.
So being a charlatan, you get some skills some things that you're good at. So Matt is really good at acrobatics. Let's pick that.
Okay.
He played the pipes, I think. Right? Do they have pipes? Pan flute is close enough.
Okay.
And let's see, what else was he good at? Oh, land vehicles. He could ride horses really well. So let's pick that one. This part is irrelevant, but it's just like what ability scores are you increasing? So Matt was very charismatic and very dexterous. So we'll pick those. So then we go back to the class. And now because we pick his skill proficiencies now. What is he good at? We already picked, we get deception because of charlatan. We get sleight of hand because of charlatan. But he's also pretty athletic. He's got good insight. He can really read people very well. He's not very good at investigating people. He's not very good at persuasion. He's pretty perceptive, though. And he can be sneaky. He's pretty sneaky. He climbed up that wall. He hides all the time. Yeah, he's very sneaky. And then what are 2 skills that he's really good at? I would say sleight of hand, twirling daggers and everything. Maybe deception, I think. You get a new language. Doesn't matter right now because we're making Matt. And weapon mastery. So obviously we have to go with quarterstaff. And with, can we choose longbow? Longbow.
Okay.
Perfect. That's definitely a Matt right there. Now, we already did his background. So the next one is species. Now, there's a lot of different species. They all do different things. But for the purposes of this, we're going to pick human. Oh, here we go. And we have Gina Torres back again, which is nice. So human. Matt is a medium person. He's not small. Choose another skill to get. We'll pick that.
Wow.
And then you get a feat. The feat basically gives you a little bit of extra abilities, things to do. There's a lot of different ones. We're not going to go through them all. But something that Matt is. Matt, he's not a musician. He's lucky. Definitely lucky. Lucky is the perfect feat for Matt. Basically, you can re-roll, like you can chance fate, which is perfectly what Matt is.
Okay, yeah.
Some more languages, which we'll just pick 2 random ones. And yes, common sign language is an official language in Dungeons and Dragons, which is fantastic. Okay. Then we do his ability scores. So there's a lot of different ways to do these. You can just type in whatever numbers you want or roll dice. Or you can do a standard array, which gives you these numbers and you put them into whatever scores you want. Or you do a point buy, which gives you a base 8 on everything. And then adjust. You adjust. And this down here tells you what those do. So like an 8 gives you a -1 modifier. So things that have to do with strength, you would be at a slight disadvantage at. So let's say Matt is definitely dexterous.
What do most people do? Like, do they do the buy-in or do they roll? Like, what's the
most people like to roll. Most people like to roll. I'm just giving him kind of like basic skills across the board because that's pretty much what Matt would be. I feel like he wouldn't have any negatives, I don't think, but he would be pretty dexterous and very charismatic. Maybe his constitution would be a little lower. He can't really take a hit that well, let's say, but he is pretty intelligent. Okay.
What's intelligence versus wisdom?
Oh, no.
What's the...
yeah, that's what I was about to say. So intelligence versus wisdom. Intelligence is more like reading book smart. Wisdom is more like common sense type of smart. Yeah, no. That's more Matt.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. And then this is just your starting equipment. We'll just give him the starting equipment that it suggests. And now we've made a character. And that's it. That's as easy as it is. He's got, we have to equip his weapons. So let's equip his weapons that he comes with. Leather armor. He has a short bow, a short sword, and that. But we want to give...
God, it gave me a 1.5-minute ad. Sorry.
It's okay. But now, and that's it. Now we're done. Like, he can attack with his daggers. He's got a short bow and a short sword. That's what he starts with. If we were playing, if I was your DM, I'd be like, yeah, you could start with a quarterstaff and a longbow. And we would be ready to play. We'd be done.
Yeah.
And that's how easy it is to make a character, essentially. What did it take us? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah. But we were making a known commodity.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like making it for yourself, it could be a little bit more difficult. I don't want to say difficult, but like time consuming. And you want to put a little bit more effort into it. But that's depends on.
Where's the best place for me to go? And like, I need to look at the classes and look at the races, and
D&D Beyond would be the best place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And start just figuring out who I want. Okay, good. That's what it pulled up.
Yeah. Okay. And then you just make an account there, and you can pretty much see everything there.
Oh my God, a turtle?
Yep.
Oh, that's adorable.
No, that's funny. Int is knowing tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. I like that.
Okay.
So the interesting part about season 2 is they split the group pretty thoroughly. They only do it a little bit in the beginning here, but as season 2 plays out, they completely split the group.
Being able to eat a bad tomato. Okay.
What is it?
So strength, being able to crush a tomato. Dexterity, dodge. Constitution, being able to eat a bad tomato.
A tomato fruit salad with salsa. That's funny. A sweet salsa.
The turtle is so cute.
Yeah, the turtles are fantastic.
I think Vlad would appreciate that. See, yeah, this is just where I get caught up, is I'm going to need to read all of these and know what they do. And that's just my...
I mean, you pretty much know what they do. But like, if you look at it, you could pretty much figure out just based off of the names what they do. Like, if you want to read the mechanics of it, that's up to you. Okay. But they do exactly what you think they do based off their names.
Okay.
I like how so the one big thing which is similar to the D&D lore is dragons don't usually work together. So them being here like this is kind of like a big deal.
Okay.
We have one other new character in this scene. Oh, by the way, did anyone see the Matt Mercer thing? Did anyone say it? No, I don't think
so.
No one said it. This was him, by the way. It happens in the first 5 minutes of the episode. He gets swallowed up by a poison cloud, but that's definitely Mercer.
See, I think I've played enough video games and other things in Boulder, similar things that, I have a better idea than someone just walking in off the street trying to learn.
Yeah. You've played video games. You've seen fantasy. It's pretty easy to figure out. All right. We're going to let the next episode play right into this one. And I will reset the timer. I had it set up, but I had to close the window because...
Oh, that's my question. How do you gain skills with your character? Is it through the actions that take place in your...
There it goes. Yeah. So that depends on your dungeon master. So some people like to just gain experience through, in Dungeons and Dragons, the monsters have experience built into them. So if you kill a kobold, you get 20 experience. So you could get experience like that through that. There's oh God, I forgot. Let's do some fun butt stuff, he said. Cushion our fall with some butt stuff. And so they went. So he says butt stuff, but then Grog calls them. There you go. Good thing these titties were here.
I mean, it looks like boobs.
It does. And it's better than him standing inside of a butt crack. So, but yeah. Anyway, or the DM, there's a secondary system where it's awarding experience for things that don't have to do with combat, having a good role play session, with getting one over, trying to get information out of somebody and persuading them and gaining that could give you experience. Okay. It just depends on your DM and your table. The other form of it is what they call milestone. So the DM might have an idea of where he wants you or she wants you to level up and where they want you to be in the story in the campaign that you're playing. Or if you're playing a a preset campaign. Sometimes they're based out in the milestone system. So like, you know, they would just tell you, okay, everyone's going to level up tonight. So everyone level up before our next session. And then that's it. And then you just level up. So there's literal XP, just like a video game, where the DM will award it to you and you keep track of it. And then at certain levels, at certain amounts of XP, you increase in level. Like 600 XP, you go from level 1 to level 2 or something like that, or 350 or something. There are some other ways to get skills. They're not in the base rules, but there are some like expanded, optional rules where you can learn skills from characters, and then it takes time. If you spend a certain amount of time learning a skill from like either an NPC or another player, they can teach you things. And there's Matt Mercer in this episode. This time Mercer's actually voicing him too. That's him though. This is when I noticed it, by the way. When I was watching episode 2, I was like, that's definitely Mercer. And I recognized the voice. So I went and I'm like, oh, they started doing it again, because they didn't do it in the last 2 episodes of season 1, or 3 episodes of season 1. Personally, I like to let people, for D&D, for experience, I ask the table what they want to do. Most people prefer, or at least from my experience, a lot of people like milestone, because then you don't have to keep track of, at the end of every single fight, okay, you got 150 experience, and then you do the math and stuff, or, make sure you're awarding experience for other things. So from what I've seen, a lot of people prefer the milestone approach. That's funny. We could make a drinking game out of it.
No, see, yeah, it's gonna take me like hours to create a character. I know I would get better, but faster, but
creating characters is a game in and of itself. Like, I love making characters. I love helping people make characters. I like helping new people make characters. It's one of the more fun things to do for me in D&D. I like helping people find, especially people that don't know D&D and don't know the system, like helping people find the character that they want to play. Mm-hmm. Like you could, like, not knowing anything about D&D, you could think that you want to play a rogue, but like really you might want to play a druid.
I was gonna say I feel like I need a BuzzFeed quiz to tell me
what character you want to play.
Something I need to be, or I'm gonna lose a lot of time trying to decide. Yeah.
The thing is that there's not just the base classes too. Each class has a subclass that they can choose. Some of them get to pick it when they are level 1, and some of them have to pick it at level 3. But they make them very different. Like you can go from, like, the rogue subclasses are exactly what you would think of for rogue subclasses. One's a thief, one's an assassin. There's swashbuckler. But then there's also one called Arcane Trickster, which gives them all kinds of magical abilities. And that's the only one that gets magical abilities. So like that really drastically changes the class.
Wow. Okay, so we need a few more people who want to play. I think Rapunzel needs to play. I think we need more people.
Oh, God. Fucking Grog. Like, I like how they're making him say bidet as like he didn't understand what they were saying as the dumb thing, but he knows what a bidet is. Like, that's funny to me. Creepy, weird, evil ghost lady. Duty.
I'm somehow behind.
If we I would totally be down to host like a one shot for people wanting to learn how to play. And if we wanted, we can even do the Wheel of Time version of it that we've done.
See, I think that's a really good way to start. Like, just to like.
Well, the only reason why it would be a little tough is because, well, it wouldn't. Not that it's tough. The only reason why I second guess it a little bit is because we made a lot of homebrew rules to make because the way magic works in Dungeons and Dragons doesn't really align with the way channeling works.
Okay.
So we kind of had to make up some minor adjustments. I made up basically a skin that you could put over any of the caster, any classes that use magic, and it'll make them a channeler.
Okay.
But that's something that you don't have in normal D&D. Like, just the most basic change that I made is you have to embrace the one power. So like, that's not something that you have to do in Dungeons and Dragons. You just can do spells whenever you want. But that's a huge part of channeling in the Wheel of Time, is that step of having to embrace the one power and hold it.
Okay.
One of my favorite things about D&D Beyond is that you can you can make up custom items, custom subclasses, custom species, custom monsters, custom skills, like feats, and really make things your own.
Okay, hold on. I think I'm back. Sorry, I'd gotten out of sync after that stupid, really long ad.
They just went into a hunter tavern. There's a bunch of monster. It looks like the room that Min is in the fucking.
Yes, with all the taxidermy. Okay, I'm just a little bit behind.
And then this guy, where is his? I had him. There he is. Will Friedel.
He's just a voice actor. Has he done anything else?
I had his IMDb up, but when I closed my thing before, it went away. But I'm grabbing it now. And now, so the season 1 was all of the backstory for Percy, and now we're getting a little Vox of Vex backstory now, because these people obviously know the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then also this episode, we get to see a little bit of not his backstory, Grog, as much right now. We do get his backstory in this season, but we start to see like Grog be able to develop as a character, which is cool too.
Rather than, just being Grog's mash.
Yeah. Will was in a couple of things that I was like, oh, that's interesting. He was in Boy Meets World. He's right.
Yeah.
He was the brother. He was the older brother in Boy Meets World. That's what it was.
Okay.
It was something big.
I knew him from somewhere. I watched that. I used to run home from middle school to watch
that image of him. Does not look like
it doesn't.
It's a very flattering picture, but it doesn't look like he looks. See, like this other one of him looks more like.
How he looked on that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a recent picture. It looks like it might have even been taken at the same time. It's just like his face is very different. This guy is awesome. Like that looks more like, yeah.
That's
could be the same day that they took that other picture, but that looks more like him. Like I recognize him there.
I'm much better at faces than I am names. I'll be like, oh, I've seen you before, but I can never remember what. That's why I always have IMDb open on my phone.
I would never have remembered his name from Boy Meets World. In 1,000 years, I wouldn't have remembered his name. If anyone has played the new Dragon Age, they may recognize Earthbreaker Groon. Yeah, Earthbreaker Groon's voice. He plays Davrin in the new Dragon Age game, but his name is Ike Amadi. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's done a lot of video game stuff, and he was Martian Manhunter in a couple of the DC things, the more recent DC things.
Glad you called that out, Aaron. I was so obsessed. I even watched Girl Meets World when that came out, and that was terrible.
It was bad. I liked Boy Meets World.
I loved Boy Meets World. Girl Meets World that they did like, I don't even know, 20 years later.
Apparently, what's his name? Fred Savage?
Mm-hmm.
It was Fred Savage, right? Apparently he was a little bit of a dick for a while, like when the show first started. And then once the other actors were like, hey, you're being a dick. He stopped. Ben Savage. Fred is his brother. Yeah, this is his brother.
That's annoying.
He's like, I'm the boy. Like, it's Boy Meets World. I'm the boy. Like,
I watched like the first season of Fuller House, and it was not.
No, I couldn't get into that either.
What's her name was too crazy off camera for me to
that too
to support it. Fred, Wonder Years, Ben, Boy Meets World. Yeah.
I like the two of them. I like the brother and sister together. They're pretty funny. Oh, and then here's another new one. I forgot. I cut her name off at the end because I'm bad.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Elizabeth Glynn is her last name. Glynn. McGlynn. Sorry, McGlynn. But she's playing Zara. She's done again a lot of voice acting in games and cartoons. She was Julia in Cowboy Bebop. And Maria Murdoch. But she's done a lot of cartoons, like a lot.
The character is quite attractive.
Yeah. Maybe a tiefling? I know the races in Matt Mercer's world are not or species in Matt Mercer's world are not exactly the same as the D&D versions.
Oh my gosh. No, I loved MASH. I was obsessed with that show when I was younger. I have no idea why.
It was a fun show.
I do think there was like a lack of cable or something too. Like it was one of the only, it was always on. You could find it at any point in time.
I love this guy is definitely a monk too, by the way. I definitely think he's a monk.
I also love Alan Alda.
Alan Alda's great. His character in The West Wing was one of my favorites.
Yeah, Glenn, one of my favorite actors of all time is Dick Van Dyke. So I
can't believe he's still kicking around, man.
God, every time I see a headline with his name come up, I'm like, dear God, no. And I know he's really old, but it's gonna make me really sad. When they filmed Mary Poppins 2, like the new one, and all the behind the scenes of talking about him still like getting up and dancing on the table, like I cried at that. I'm such a sap.
Yeah. He was on Jimmy Kimmel recently and or Stephen Colbert, maybe. I don't know. He was on one of the late night shows. And they were laughing and he's like, when I saw you backstage and asked you how you were doing, you replied with very, very old. I thought that was hilarious. Oh, that's funny. I don't know if anyone saw it. The ground is hexagonal grid, like a D&D mat, like a play mat. We'll see if we see the ground.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little bit behind you guys.
Yeah, I think the time is correct right now. We have 10 minutes and 40 seconds left in the show. 15 minutes into the show, 10 minutes and 36 seconds, 35, 34 left. So the timer is lined up with how much time is left in the show.
Mm-hmm.
We have a sphinx. You don't really see many sphinxes outside of like Never-Ending Story.
Do we have that movie on our list?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Osisa, by the way. Alana Ubach. You have to put the at the end. I don't know why. Not done a lot of stuff, this one. I couldn't find a lot of information on her. I mean, she's been in a lot of things. She's done a lot of voices, but it's usually like 1 episode, 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Did she do NCIS? CSI?
She wasn't in Law and Order, I don't think. She was in NCIS.
I was going to say, if she hasn't, then she hasn't made it because she hasn't done one of those.
She was in NCIS for sure. She was in NCIS. Where did she get her start? Let's see. She was in a movie called The Blue Men in 1990. Oh, she was in Sister Act 2. Is that Maria? Wait a minute.
No.
She was in, no, Sister Act 2. She wasn't in Sister Act 1, though. Okay, so it's someone else.
She's probably one of the kids.
Yeah. She was Maria in Sister Act 2. I don't know. Yeah, she was probably, because she was in a Catholic high school, right, or something like that. Yeah, she's not the young nun that could really sing really well.
Huh.
I love that fucking movie.
Oh my God, I love those movies so much.
Me too. And fucking, what's her name? What the hell's her name?
Who are you talking about? Sorry.
McGonagall.
Oh, God damn it.
Her name is in my head. It's screaming Professor in my head.
Yeah, Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith. Her as Mother Superior was fantastic.
Who she played that very old woman a very long time ago before she was a very old woman.
Yep. I remember like when I first saw her in Harry Potter, I was like, what the fuck? How is she alive? She was Mother Superior in Sister Act 100 years ago.
Yeah, no, she's great. That's so sad.
I know. So sad.
People. Rest in peace.
So,
she was
I know.
Wonderful.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't seen, there's an interview that Ian McKellen did talking about her. He was up for an Oscar for Gandalf, and he was wearing a Maori symbol of luck on a necklace, and she saw him, and he does the voice and everything, and like he imitates her really funny. And she's like, "Oh, what's that?" He's like, "Oh, it's for good luck. It's a symbol that we got when we were in New Zealand." And she's like, "Oh, okay, all right." And then after the Oscars, he didn't win. She found me in the party and she went, "Didn't work, did it?" Fucking hilarious. But he does the voice and everything. It was fantastic. And he's like, that was just her sense of humor. She was very dark and very dry and hilarious.
All right, Tom, I'll be right back. We have a Crazy Lion emergency. The tiny human is awake and doesn't have it. I'll be right back.
Good luck. Yeah, Labyrinth. Yeah, I love Lesbian Nerdy. We've had her on. We've gotten to get her on one time when our times lined up. She lives in Korea, so it's really hard for her to get our times to line up. But she always tells me when she'll be around at the time when we do the show. Just she didn't see Vox Machina when we started this, so we didn't have any of that she lined up with. But I'm going to see if I can get her in for the next one. Lesbian Nerdy is fantastic. I'm so glad that she was able to make it over for a couple of the conventions last year. She has a great brain. I like talking to her.
Okay, where are
we? Grog in this season goes through a little bit of like the same story that Perrin goes through with this sword. And it being, and violence and stuff like that, where he has to let go of it and kind of learn that he is his own strength and he doesn't need, to be more violent with it and stuff like that. So it's an interesting little bit that he goes through with that in this. And then I just love the idea of sentient weapons in D&D, especially ones that fuck with people. I once played, I was playing a paladin and we were starting out at level 1 characters, but I had talked to the DM beforehand because I had this idea that I wanted to do. And it was a one shot. I was like, can my paladin be decked out in like really ridiculously good looking armor, like heavy plate with this awesome ornate sword and but the idea was I die in the first fight in the game, and whoever picks up my sword would learn that the sword is sentient. And I wasn't playing the paladin, I was playing the sword.
Oh my God. Wow.
So whoever picked up the sword, it was cursed and they couldn't put it down. So I sat next to that player and just whispered in their ear the entire time. And like they had to make rolls and stuff to see if I could influence their actions. It was really fucking
That is hilarious.
It was a one shot. So like, it wasn't like, I was like fucking with people's characters for a long time, but it was, the DM really liked it and it was fun.
Are there ever are dungeon masters ever like, hey, like I only need like these, like you have to kind of come with one of these types of characters, like specific to the story they're trying to tell?
Depends.
Okay.
Like, if we were going to play, like this campaign, well, a good DM talks to their players first. Like that's like, there's always like, you'll hear the term session 0 a lot. And that's when the DM and the players get together and talk about what they expect from the game.
Okay.
And that's always really important to me. You set boundaries. These are the things that like I would love to see in the game. These are the things that I never want to see in the game for each player. Like, are you okay with, hyper violence? Is SA an okay thing to be in the story? Like, or is that too triggering? You don't want it in the story. Is,
we don't kill dogs. We don't kill pets. We don't kill pets.
Yeah, we don't kill pets. Like that would be something that you say at the table. And then it's like, okay, like I have a couple of ideas for my story. One is like a pirate campaign where it takes place a lot on the ocean. I wouldn't tell you what kind of character you can or can't make, but with that information, you should probably not make a character who's, not do. Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be funny though. Like, I would just give you the information so that you wouldn't be surprised. If you want to make a character who's afraid of the water and can't swim on a boat, that's up to you. And it would be a fun thing to do. One of the things that I like to do that is a bit of a hot take and some people don't like is I ask right out, is it okay if your character can die? Like, do you want your character to be able to die? Or would you rather not?
Yeah.
So that like, your character doesn't die if it reaches 0 hit points and loses its death saves. Something else will happen.
Okay. I'm frustrated. I've had more ads tonight than I've ever had.
Oh, that sucks too. It sucks too because it's the end of the episode. Mm-hmm, the guy at the end of the episode here reminds me so much of the Tinkerer from he's like a little bit of the Tinkerer and a little bit of Boomy from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So if you're in the watch party and you're watching it, I closed the watch party. It may still play for you to play into episode 3. You're more than welcome to watch it if you would like to watch it. But I am not going to be watching it right now. And I don't need the timer anymore, so we can get rid of it. So the cool thing that's about these 2 episodes is, definitely a lot boomy. The only Tinkerer part is the fact that he's like building stuff. Really is what it is. He's basically Boomy with the Tinkerer's abilities, which is a little scary. But speaking of Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm doing a cool thing this week, and I thought maybe some of you would be interested in it. So, and if you go to this website, maybe it's going to be in one of your states. So I'm going to see Avatar live in concert. There's going to be an orchestra. I think it's like a 30 or 40 piece orchestra playing music from the Avatar, and they're going to have a big movie screen. And they said they're going to be playing some of the most memorable and favorite moments throughout the original Avatar: The Last Airbender series. And it'll be accompanied by the orchestra playing the music. So I'm really excited to be doing that. We're doing that on Thursday.
That is going to be so cool.
I posted the link to where you could check their tour dates. They're touring all over the United States throughout the beginning of next year, and then they're going to the UK and Australia and all over Europe. But they're going to be in the US up until like May or something like that of next year. So if they're going to be near you guys, should check it out. It's pretty fantastic. But back to Vox Machina.
Already happened.
By you?
It was already here November 2nd, and I had no idea.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay.
I'm really excited to see it because I love the music in Avatar. Like, I mean, we talked about it a lot. Like the score in that fucking show is just so good. Oh yeah, I would love to see that too. I wanted to go see some one of my favorite what do you call them? Composers. Is Nobu Umatsu. He's the he's done pretty much all of the Final Fantasy music since Final Fantasy 1 on Nintendo that only came out in Japan. And I love pretty much all of the music from Final Fantasy. Some of my favorite music is like in the 16-bit Super Nintendo Final Fantasy 6 on Super Nintendo. But they do a tour of his music, and sometimes he is there, and I really want to see that before he passes away because he's old. But I did also get to see once, Aaron actually got me for either my birthday or Christmas, Family Guy Sings. It was fantastic. Okay. It was, if anyone's ever seen like old school Family Guy, it was the episode where Stewie actually kills Lois, but then they find out that he didn't kill her. They went on like a cruise or something.
Oh yeah.
It was a 2-part episode, and they broke each episode up into 3 acts. So there were 6 acts. It was in Carnegie Hall. Pretty cool.
Wow.
And the actors were on the stage. So it was Seth MacFarlane, Mila Kunis, Seth Green. I can't remember the guy. Then there's like 3 other guys that do all of the other voices pretty much, other than Seth MacFarlane's. Oh, and Alex Borstein, who does Lois, and a couple other characters, but mainly Lois. Between Seth MacFarlane and like there's like 2 other guys that are on the cast. They do pretty much like 90% of the characters. And they were on the stage. They had like little chairs with their scripts, and then they had a 30-piece orchestra behind them. And they did those episodes broken up into 3 acts. And in between each of the acts, they sung songs from the rest of the series, like My Shibupi and things like that. And they had some original songs that they sang specifically for that show, and it was pretty cool. Wow. One thing I will say is Seth MacFarlane is the tiniest person I've ever seen. He's so, not really, but he's really small. He's so small. He danced with Mila Kunis, and like during a romantic song that was a duet with Alex Borstein and Seth MacFarlane, and he stood on Mila Kunis's feet while they were dancing.
Wow.
How tiny he is. It was really cool.
Seth Green, yeah.
Yeah, Seth Green. Seth Green is tiny. Did I say Seth MacFarlane again? Yeah, Seth MacFarlane is huge. Seth MacFarlane is like 6'6". He's huge. Seth Green is tiny. They were having a lot of fun too, though. They were riffing and just talking and telling us like backstage stuff, like things that happened when they were recording. And Seth MacFarlane did a song where he switched between Peter, Quagmire, Brian, and Stewie. He did 4 characters in one song. Wow. That's crazy. Fun. Yeah. Usually, he doesn't do that. He sings the different parts and then they cut them together. He's bigger when he's a werewolf. Yes. Yes. He was Willow's boyfriend in the college years of Buffy. I haven't watched Buffy in forever. Maybe it's time for a rewatch of that. Speaking of rewatches, though,
I did it last summer. That was good.
I wonder what you guys think. I want to see what chat thinks. So, would chat like to see us do a rewatch of The Wheel of Time season 2 prior to season 3 coming out? Because I ask that because usually we put out 4 options for a show and everyone votes on it, and then we watch a show. But now that we have a release date for Wheel of Time season 3, we are going to be finishing season 2 of Vox Machina on January 13th. Basically, we have exactly the amount of weeks in between when Vox Machina finishes and when season 3 of Wheel of Time starts to watch season 2.
Like if we watch, 1 episode when they release 3, it'll take us right through.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we from January 13th, between January 13th and March 13th is 8 weeks. So
yeah, it would be season 2 only. No, just season 2. We wouldn't have time for season 1.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do season 1. Like if we tried to do 2 episodes at a time, like we still wouldn't be able to do it. So
yeah,
we would only be able to watch season 2. But I wanted to see what you guys thought. Yeah, just two, because there's only 8 weeks from when we finish season 2 of Vox Machina. So we would only have 8 weeks in between. Yeah, because we're doing 2 seasons of a show. I would love to do season 3 of Vox Machina just right after this, but then we wouldn't watch Wheel of Time.
That's not on brand. Can't do that.
Yeah, I think we probably should. Yeah, rewatch always. We should. Yeah, we should. Yeah, I mean, if we have the chance and it lines up, we should do it. I think so too. So
Peter, what were you on last time? What does he not want to be on? I can't remember.
Episode 5. No, that was only if we did season 1. Episode 5 or 4, the episode that everyone hates of season 1, even though I think it's a good episode. The one with Steppen.
7 and 8. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the one that's all about Steppen.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not going to do season 1, so you'd be fine. Don't worry about it. Maybe we'll put out a poll for that. Should we watch Vox Machina season 3 or Wheel of Time season 2? Let people decide. I mean, it probably will win. Wheel of Time will probably.
Have you met our people, Tom? Do you know our people?
Let people decide. We'll put the poll out. Well, I mean, we have like a month before we need to decide that. True. So
very true.
We have more than enough time. I feel like we don't need a poll.
I just feel like we know our. I feel like we know our audience, but maybe not.
Polls are fun though. Giggity. All right. I didn't make when I clip this for later. When I clip my my interview, I'll put the correct intro, but so that we have somewhere to break for the interview, I'm going to play the intro that I made for our guest who was not able to make it tonight. And then I'll have something to clip for later. I'll be able to cut that out easier. Are you ready? Do you have?
Yeah, I've been waiting to ask you these questions for a long time. So I'm very excited.
All right, here we go.
Look, here comes an.
It's not it. I'm not even going to pretend to be. I'm shy because I don't need to get canceled tonight.
It's very majestic. It's good.
Thank you.
Are you ready? You've asked these questions how many times? Do you have all your answers?
20 something times. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, I'm sure I could be able. I'll come up with them. I've never thought about some of them.
I know. There's a couple that I don't have. All right. Well, so the first one I feel like is the easiest. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I think it was Land Before Time that did it for me. Just shit. What was her name? Sarah.
Sarah the Triceratops.
I remember. Sarah. I liked her in Land Before Time. And that she was friends with Petrie made me happy. I don't know why, but I always liked Sarah. So that started it. And then the fact that they were, just like big and like, they pushed a lot, like I don't know, it reminded me of me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like Triceratopses.
Okay. So what is your favorite word?
There's so many. All right. So
I'm sure this fluxes like.
Oh yeah, it does. Though the one that I usually answer and the one that is easily in the top 3 all the time is defenestrate. I like words that have that like a single word that mean an entire sentence, and defenestrate means to throw out a window.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like if someone, like if I threw somebody out a window and they died, they would die by defenestration.
Wow.
Yeah. Defenestrate. A close second is gubernatorial. Because I like saying it.
It's a fun word.
Yeah.
It's a fun word. All right. On the other side of that, what is your least favorite word?
Hurtful words. It's not a singular word. I just don't like when people are excited about something and then people say something that takes that excitement away. I don't like that. That's why I don't like when people like gatekeep or are toxic about like, movies or video games or things like that. Like there's people that are excited about that. And then like, you're just going to, because you don't like it, you're going to make these sweeping statements. There isn't a single word that I don't like though. I don't think, because they all can be funny or fun or sad, depending on how they're used.
Yeah, that's fair. Any sort of like hate speech would be on my list.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
What's your, we don't ask this one a lot. What's your favorite fantasy or fictional curse word replacement?
Ooh, okay. I like frack a lot.
Is there one you use that you like use?
Is there one I use? I say go ram it a lot. That from Firefly and Serenity. I do say that. I also say stacco, which is a way of saying, shit.
Interesting. All right. What's an everyday sound that you love?
Cat purring.
Aww. And a sound that you hate?
Open mouth chewing.
Yeah.
Oh, Stacco is from Defiance, by the way. It was a very short-lived sci-fi series.
Forking shirt balls. That's never heard that one, Skeeter.
Oh, I say that all the time too. Forking shirt balls. That's from the show with fucking Kristen Stewart.
Oh, Third Rock?
Good Place.
Oh, Good Place. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So we changed these. Who do you think would make the very best roommate and why?
Roommate. If I was picking a roommate, I'm going to stick with Wheel of Time. I think I would pick Laris. She's a great cook. She would be clean. And if we had people over, she would make sure they cleaned up after themselves.
Okay.
I would like either her or oh shit, what was the cook from Downton Abbey?
Oh,
Mrs. Padmore.
Thanks, Aaron.
Mrs. Padmore. I would like either of those. Basically, I want someone who cooks very well, and that I can learn from. Mainly is really I would love to learn either from Laris or Mrs. Padmore.
All right. So who would make the very worst roommate and why? And don't you dare say Matt.
He would be Matt. Absolutely be Matt. He'd be filthy all the time. You'd have to clean up behind him. He would just leave shit all over the place.
How did I know? It's something not Wheel of Time.
Okay, not Wheel of Time.
That just makes me mad. So
The Flash. Because you would never know if he was going to come or go. Like, he's not like he's going to knock on the door. He's just going to beat, like, 1 second he's not at home, and then the next second he's home.
He's right there.
And, like, yeah, like, like you walk out of the bathroom from taking a shower. You got to be on your guard all the time if you're living with the Flash. Because he could be home, and, like, he could be not home, and then home immediately 1 second later.
All right, Tom, there's been an audience request that you need to answer the original questions as well. So Who would make the best spouse and why, and who would make the worst spouse and why? So best spouse first.
Spouse. Best spouse. I feel like Suan is a great choice because she's so pragmatic and diplomatic, but also like fun and like heartfelt too at the same time. Like she cares deeply, but she's also very like I said, like pragmatic, like she could solve problems and
like
she could.
Early book, New Spring, or like fully formed Suan?
I like who she becomes after she loses her, like as a character, like who she becomes after she loses her ability and gains it back. Minus, I'm not a fan of her and Gareth Bryn, to be perfectly honest with you. But,
that's fair.
But I like her as a character. I like how she grows as a character, you know, not relying on the one power, and then like learning how to deal with her new
station
stance. Yeah, her new station amongst the Aes Sedai. But then again, like I said, she would be fun. Like, you know, she's got that like you know, she's got that streak in her where she'd just be fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, who do you think would make the worst spouse and why?
Who would make the worst spouse? Okay. I don't know why this was the first name that popped in my head, but the first name that popped in my head was Krang from the Ninja Turtles.
Okay. Yep.
That was the first name that popped in my head.
That's fair.
Like wow. I had there with no thought behind it whatsoever. So like I'm trying to reason it out now. Like, why would my brain hand that to me?
Hush, Rapunzel.
I mean, one, he's a tiny brain, or it's a tiny brain. I don't even know like if it has a sex at all. They want to take over the world for world domination. They're always talking about how much better Dimension X is than this dimension. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Krang from the Ninja Turtles. Just an angry little person all the time, just being angry and always talking about how they had it better in Dimension X. That would be frustrating to live with.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't do anything for themselves. You'd have to do everything for them. They would expect everything done for them.
Wow. Okay. So in fantasy fiction, any realm of fiction, who is your crush, Tom? Who's at the top of the list?
Who's at the top of the list? Like, well, I mean, like one of the things I think about with this question is, and I'll answer your version of it too, is like, who was the first fantasy crush that you could think of? And thinking back, I want to say it was Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
For sure. And then thinking now, I don't know. I mean, Lanfear is awesome in a little time. But if we're going, you know what? We're watching Vox Machina. So if I had to pick a Vox Machina character, Scanlan is fantastic. It's really torn between Vex and Scanlan. I like Vex a lot. Keyleth. I like Keyleth a lot. She's hilarious. And the fact that she could turn into animals would be fun. Because like you could cuddle with you just lay like, oh, I want to, there's nowhere to lay down here. Just turn into a bear so I can just like lay on the bear.
I would need a sky bison, but that's,
That's fair. I like Keyleth a lot though. Keyleth is awesome. And she's also just an awesome character. She's funny. I like that for the first scene in season 1 when they're drinking she's hilarious.
But you understand you gave me like a top 4. You didn't give me just
one. Well, I picked my first Keyleth.
Your first one. Okay.
Keyleth now, and my first one, Velma.
Okay. All right. So if you were given the opportunity to assume a vocation or align with an entity from any realm of fiction, who are you gonna be? What are you gonna do?
The Ogier.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, like I always like I've played an Ogier in a lot of the times I've played the Wheel of Time tabletop game. And I just like the idea of living for a very long time. Because like when people are like, oh, you wouldn't want to live forever. I would want to live forever. Yes, I would. I would be okay with being a vampire. I'd be okay with being an immortal. No problem with that. And the fact that they're long lived and get to experience so many things and go so many places is cool.
Agreed.
I would pick the Ogier for sure.
Love it. All right. Who do you think has the worst job in the realm of fiction?
Who has the worst job? I mean, the example that we gave for this was the people who have to clean up after the Avengers, which is it's not wrong.
True.
Though, to be honest, whoever has to clean up after the battles, like, one of the big things that you see in the Battle of the Two Rivers, as it's a pertinent thing now, is them cleaning up the bodies after the battle. Like, they're dragging all the trolloc bodies into piles. And could you imagine? That would be the worst thing to do, having to do that at the Borderlands, because it would regularly be trollocs and Murgil and other horrible things. So that whoever has to clean up after battles with Darkspawn.
Yeah, no, that would be awful.
Yeah, no thanks.
All right, and so I find this to be the toughest question. What is the specific portrayal of the afterlife that you wish could be true?
I like I like reincarnation as an idea of the afterlife, because anything for eternity, any one thing for eternity, I feel like would eventually become torture.
Yeah.
People say like Elysium, but and like, the idea of having your own personal heaven, but that's one, very lonely. And two, like, again, anything in an infinite amount of time would be, anything in eternity would be boring or horrible after a long time. So I like the idea of reincarnation. So really, any of the mythologies or ideas that deal with reincarnation, the Wheel of Time version of it is pretty cool. I like the Wheel of Time version. So if I had to pick one, I would say the being a thread in the wheel of the Wheel of Time.
I like it. I'm glad we finally did that. I hate that it took so long.
Yeah, well, I was waiting for an opportunity. This was a perfect opportunity. That was fun. Now we got to do you eventually.
Oh, yes.
It was fun. All right. So who is coming next week, though? Did I create an image? Graphic? I did.
Good job.
I was on the ball this time. Who's coming next week? Let's see. Sarah Madsen.
Wait.
No, it's December 23rd. That's the wrong day.
The 16th. We're looking
so anyway, Sarah Madsen's coming on the 23rd. She's a fantastic author. And she's actually written for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah. I did make the graphic, but what I didn't do was upload it. So I just have to, I uploaded the one with Sarah Madsen on it because that's what I do. I do things incorrectly, apparently. Our guest for next week, though, is there we go. Can I share this? Oh, I have to. It's broken. Sorry. When I upload second pictures for things, that if I upload something with the same name, this doesn't like it. So I have to delete this one and then upload the other one because they're both named the same thing. It'll be there in a second. There it is. And it's there. And we're coming. And who's our guest next week? It's Jess, the Amaryllin Seat. She's going to be able to make it this week. She promised, whether or not she's coughing up a lung, she will come and hang out with us. So we will have Jess, the Amaryllin Seat, who just did her own watch of Vox Machina where she live reacted to it. So if you go to her TikTok, if you go to her TikTok page, you could see her live reacting to a lot of the episodes and things like that. Yeah. No, I confirmed them. I just forgot to upload the image because I'm bad at my job.
We even talked about it before we got on.
We did. I was like, yay! She's coming next week. Yay! I just forgot to upload the thing. Oh, I uploaded the wrong one, which is perfectly on brand for me. I had two and I chose the wrong one.
It's because Luna wasn't here. Let's be clear.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why it happened.
I've gotten a lot of feedback. The last thing I want to do before we go is I've gotten a lot of feedback on our form that we post that we put out for our Patreon revamp.
Ooh, okay.
But I want to get more. So if you haven't already checked out this Google form that I'm going to post the short URL in chat, you should check it out. It's not that long. It just has pictures of mainly just has pictures of what the tiers are going to be in our new Patreon, and then the rewards that we have currently slated for those tiers at the moment. We have ideas for other rewards, and those are at the end of the thing, but that we may do in the future. But I want your guys' feelings on what the rewards are now, and like what the price points are, and if you feel that they're desirable, if you like them, don't like them, if it's something that you think you would do. And because we want to provide you guys with the content that y'all want.
Yeah, we're really excited about it, but we want you guys to be excited about it.
Exactly. So that's going to launch in January. So we're going to spend the next couple of weeks refining it based off of the feedback that we get. And then in January, we're going to launch the whole new Patreon and start doing all the nonsense that we have slated for that. One of the things being the monthly one-shot D&D that we're going to do. So, and it's going to be with the Wheel of Time rule set that we've made for the Time to Roll the Dice, a live play that we're doing with Roof Mistress and Beth Doman, and Jess is also playing in it. We have a lot of kind of like rotating characters as people's schedules don't always line up. But the idea is we'll be able to play Wheel of Time games, and they're going to be set in different times. We'll set some, it'll really depend on the people that are playing. Like if we're playing with somebody who's a first time reader and is only in book 3, maybe we'll play in, the War of Power or something before, or maybe we'll just play in book 3. But it's all going to be with the Wheel of Time toolkit kind of thing that we made. So that should be fun. And also the Dragonmount gaming servers for people that play games that can host servers for things, mostly survival craft games. Yes. But we currently have the ability to host, I think, 3 or 4 servers depending on the games. And if people are interested in playing other games that we don't host, that we aren't currently hosting a server for, depending on like the desire, we can, roll up another server for something if people are interested in it. But my current ideas are Minecraft, which everyone has heard of pretty much at this point. It's a lot of fun to play. I like playing Minecraft. A game called Valheim, which is another open world survival craft game, which is a lot of fun, and 7 Days to Die.
Which is my fault because that's my obsession.
I like that game too. So, but these are all games where, playing online can be tricky because, if you play with toxic or shitty people, it's not fun. And that's usually my problem with these types of games is I don't like just playing on open multiplayer servers because you end up with shitty people and I don't want to play with shitty people.
Assholes.
Yeah. So I would rather play with our community because our community are pretty awesome people. So, it's not something that you'd have to dedicate lots of time to. It's just like, if you play any of those games or think you may play any of those games, you have access to this server that you'd be able to play on. And that will come with the lowest tier of the Patreon. Anyone can participate in it.
Okay.
But it does cost money to host gaming servers. So we have to, pay for those.
Yep.
Anywho. I'm looking forward to hanging out with Jess next week because I haven't seen her since WatCon. And other than that, you guys can pay attention for a interview coming out probably at the beginning of next year for this book, which isn't out yet. It's upside down. It's called The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune.
Interesting.
TJ Klune is a awesome Tor author. And I can't wait to read this book. I just got it in the mail last week. I'm going to read it. And then in January, I'm going to interview them. Ooh. And we're going to talk about the book and them and learn some stuff. And I'm going to get them to answer our Inside the Dragonmount Studio questions. And then I believe the book comes out in February. But I'm very excited. TJ Klune's an awesome author. I looked up some of their other books. And they're already New York Times bestselling on like 3 of their other books. So
wow. That's exciting.
Yeah. But that's all I have for everybody. Anything else, Crystal?
Nope.
All right. Well, then with that, I think that's the end. So say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.